Okay, so this is now, I'm losing track, the fifth, sixth, seventh video I've done warning about earthquakes hitting the United States. I don't know if you've been following the Telegram or following my announcements, but yes, the Pacific Northwest just got hit by a 5.7 July 4th. Yesterday, as I am filming right now, it is July 5th. And so I just wanted to put out this 48-hour warning. Again, I've been warning about this for a while now. This isn't just something that has come across my radar, but at least since January, when we did that triple American eclipse prophecy video with the green map of the United States there. That was back in late January. So I've been warning about earthquakes for quite some time. And I've laid out the historical precedent of why these things are now on the radar in a prophetic sense, in a biblical sense. This is what the eclipse omens over the country that everybody was talking and raving about, especially April 8th. This is what they actually meant. The areas of intersection are actually places that are subject to extreme seismic, volcanic, and different natural disaster scenarios and activity. So I'm your brother Abraham. Thank you. Look, I'm putting out this warning because 48 hours from now, we don't know. Okay. You just have today, you have tomorrow to kind of prep and get ready. And so again, I just want to remind you that to take this very, very seriously. This isn't just something to take lightly. But yes, we're looking at, again, I just want to show you what happened on the news yesterday in case you missed it. But a 5.7, let me just pull it up here. It hit off the coast of Vancouver Island amid series of shocks. There was a 5.7 magnitude that hit, but this article from King TV Seattle featured on MSN, and they're saying, oh yeah, it was at least 10 earthquakes, 4.0 magnitude or greater the past few days. And yeah, there's been a cluster over there. And so just as your brother here, as your brother Abraham here in Overcome Babylon, I just want to put out this warning. Guys, what I had said a while ago, it looks like, wow, this is actually going to come to pass. Again, we could still be wrong. I could still be wrong. July 7th may not be the day. But I just want to share with you what I found here in this article, that this is the highest magnitude earthquake in the Pacific Northwest since January, this 5.7 that hit. I remember seeing a 5.2 back in May. And this is what it looks like, by the way, in the USGS map. You have this 5.7. They're saying it's Tofino, Canada, but it's right here on a plate boundary. Again, I'm not super, polished on seismology and everything else that goes into studying earthquakes. All I can tell you is that prophetically, we should be expecting the big one, the big one. Here's just another map. That's from the USGS. This is from pnsn.org. You can just see again the scale of these earthquakes, those magnitude 4s and 5s hitting over there off the coast of Vancouver Island. And again, I've shared this channel before, guys, the Earthmaster. Make sure you check out the Earthmaster. I feel like he does the best updates. It's more scientific. I know a lot of you guys like Dutchson's. They're both pretty good. I like Earthmaster lately because he has his eyes on the prize of the Cascadia subduction zone, just like we do here on this channel. Because again, that's just what I'm seeing with how everything's been building up and playing out. That's on my radar, and that's why on the thumbnail right now, I'm not even though the New Madrid is also highly suspect for earthquakes moving here into the future. We're looking at Cascadia first. This is obvious now, right? We're looking at Cascadia first. And I just want to play this video real quick from the Earthmaster. He just did this little short here. I want to go ahead and play that for you. Check out what he has to say. It's pretty eye-opening.
Hey, what's up there, guys? Happy 4th of July. Currently watching a big earthquake swarm up here at the northern edge of the Cascadia subduction zone, where we've seen a 5.7 earthquake this morning. A swarm of quakes here in the last 24 hours, ranging from 4 to 5 in the magnitude department. Again, this is associated with a divergent boundary activity here on that red plate boundary right there. The Juan de Fuca Ridge is a divergent zone, indicating a separation of the seafloor, slowly, of course, over time. And that should add further pressure out over here where we're seeing some current activity with a 4.5. Watch the Cascadia subduction zone here. Again, this is off the coast of Vancouver Island ranges. And looks like we may be getting ready to see a little bit larger activity here soon. Stay safe and happy 4th of July.
All right, so that, like I said, great video. Again, I'm putting out this 48-hour warning. Okay, if you just want to sit back and watch this thing unfold, potentially, you can go ahead and do that. But if you want to have more of a preparedness mindset, I want to offer you some tips as well on what to do, because what we're talking about here, this isn't normal. Okay, we're not talking about, oh, yeah, some buildings are going to fall over and all that. There's going to be tsunamis if this thing really hits the way that traditionally it has in this 300-year cycle. Back in 1700, the orphan tsunami that hit Japan. You guys know I've covered this on the channel many times. Like I said, I've done many videos now on this topic. Um, but you have potentially 80 to 100-foot high waves hitting the Pacific Northwest, potential activation of the San Andreas, San Jacinto, different faults down there in California also happening very in short succession, short order. And so you're going to, this whole area from Seattle to Portland, obviously Vancouver, but going further down, California is not in the clear either. If you guys follow a lot of the work that the Earthmaster is putting out there, California has had an uptick of earthquakes as well. And I've talked about this specifically. We're looking at the Cascadia because there's been 12,000 epicenters and tremors from May 22nd to June 22nd. And so there's a lot of scenarios to consider over there. It looks like everything that I've been telling you is unfolding before our eyes. The fact that there's a buildup right now going into July 7th, which I've been warning about. I've been warning about it in many videos, and I just want to play this one real quick. Again, this actually is a different video. This is the video entitled Iran will begin the Great Tribulation very soon. At the end of that video, I have something to say here. I just want to play it and remind you of some things that I said there, and then we'll get into some more of the preparedness in a moment. But check this out. I'm just a man. I just see these things through my human eyes. I don't know what God has in store. He can do whatever he wants. He can change his mind on the 90-day program. Okay. He did it before, like clockwork, 90 days, exactly 90 days. Did I mention that? Exactly 90 days, not 91, not 89, exactly 90. He can change his mind and do it maybe 120. Maybe he'll do, well, I don't know. Maybe he might even do 70, 60 days. We don't know. Okay, so obviously the 60-day mark, the 70-day mark has passed. We're now at the 90-day mark. And again, I just want to remind you, the reason we're looking at this cycle the way that we're doing it with the solar eclipses, the prophetic omens, Genesis 1, chapter 14, these are our signs for seasons, for judgment, for change, for understanding what God's about to orchestrate in the earth. So these are extremely important, okay? Anybody who tells you that not studying astronomy from a biblical lens, if somebody says that's just foolishness or that's pagan or sign seeking or superstitious, that's total nonsense. Genesis 1:14 clearly tells us that God's people are to be paying attention to the signs that God gives them in the heavenlies, in the celestial, in the atmosphere. Okay, there's things that are going on. We need to pay attention to them. That is so clear as day. Okay, anybody who's saying otherwise, they're deflecting their own insecurity on the subject matter and attempting to just gaslight, because that's not the case. So 30 days. We saw a 30-day window from the New Madrid activation to the Cascadia back in the early 1700s with that cycle of earthquakes. That's when I just spoke about here in that other video. But from 1811 September to December, you have a 90-day window, and the New Madrid activated. But so we're looking at April 8th, 2024, 90 days, July 7th. It also happens to be a new moon. And again, the buildup to this has been absolutely insane. And I just want to remind you that this is to be taken very seriously, okay? Don't be like Lot, okay? Because it said that Lot in Genesis 19:16, when Sodom and Gomorrah were about to be judged, and remember, there's all the pride festivities just happen in the United States, right? All the pride events, pride comes before the fall events happen in this country. Lot lingered, but God graciously sent two messengers. They took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, in the hands of his two daughters, and Yehovah, the Lord, being merciful to him, brought him out and set him outside the city. So they grabbed him by the hand by force, okay? Because he was the only righteous one in Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot, and his righteous soul was vexed. And so what I'm saying is, this channel, what I'm attempting to do today is grab you by the hand and be like, this is where you need to go. This is what you should be thinking about. This is what you should be doing. Because I believe that God is about to orchestrate something unprecedented in the earth, because we're in that season of the cycles. We understand the solar eclipse cycle of America. We understand what the sign of Jonah is here on this channel, right? And if you're new, you got to go check out all those videos that I've done. We understand these things, right? We're not walking in ignorance. We have the cyclical understanding of how these things work. And so I like it. So that I just read from the New King James Version, but I like what the Tree of Life version says here. It says that Lot hesitated. So the men grabbed his hand, his wife's hand, and his two daughters' hands, because Jehovah's compassion for him, and they brought him and sent him outside the city, or left him outside the city. But it said that Lot hesitated. So look, here's what I'm going to say. I don't know where you are, right? Watching this, I don't know what your lifestyle looks like. But if you're in the Pacific Northwest right now, and you're within the metros, whether you're in Tacoma, Seattle, Portland, any of the metros there along the coastline. Okay, I just want to show you this map here. This is from the USGS. This is just a scenario map where they're saying, hey, if a 9.0 magnitude earthquake hits, which is again what we're kind of looking for with the Cascadia subduction zone activation, 100-foot tsunamis, all that kind of stuff. The dark red areas there is the areas that are going to be affected immediately and the most with tsunamis, earthquakes, and devastation. You have Seattle in the red. You have all the way down, even Eugene, Salem, and Portland are not in the clear whatsoever, but definitely the coastline. And again, if you're not familiar with the United States, just where the population is, this is from a website called vividmaps.com. Nearly 2 out of 3 people live within the border. Okay, 100-mile border zone is what it's saying here. 2 out of 3 people live there. Okay, so if we have a massive event here, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna have immediate civil unrest. Okay, immediately civil unrest, shootings, robbings, killings, stabbings, everybody getting robbed at gunpoint, highways overflowing with people, bumper to bumper traffic. Okay, in the event of Seattle or Portland getting big time hit with a 9.0 earthquake. If the San Andreas activates, you have LA, you have a lot of places there, big time going to have problems. So immediate civil unrest. State to state travel could be limited or outright shut down. Why do I say that? State to state travel. Why would that be a problem? Because we don't know if this natural event is going to be blamed on, let's say, oh, I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out there, the Houthis or the Russians or somebody dropped a bomb over there on the Cascadia. Remember, our nation's at war. You know, everybody's out eating hot dogs and drinking beer, right? And shooting off fireworks. But we are a country at war. We have several war fronts now. Okay, we have a lot of enemies. So if there is the Cascadia or San Andreas activation during this time, obviously looking at an 8.0 down there with the San Andreas, 9.0 over there in the Cascadia subduction, but it could be more as far as magnitude. That could be blamed on a foreign enemy. And guess what? Oh, there's terrorists at large. Let's go ahead and impose lockdowns and have state to state travel being limited. Okay. Cyber attacks could easily coincide with this type of event as well, because why would not the enemies of America, which are numerous, why would they not take advantage of a situation like this? They would be idiots not to. Okay, so you have cyber attacks coinciding. That means you're not going to be able to get money out of an ATM, possibly. You're not going to be able to get gas. And so listen, I'm putting out a 48-hour warning. Do what you got to do now. And if nothing happens, great. But you're not only going to be practiced for a potential future event, which it's only a matter of time before something gets out of control. But if something does actually happen, you're going to be so thankful that you took action. All right. So we're seeing, okay, immediate civil unrest, that's hands down. But you could see state to state travel banned or limited, or lockdowns imposed because it could be blamed on some sort of a terrorist event, which to me, that'd be like a false event, a false flag event, blaming something else for just a natural event. That's very possible as well, just for consolidation of power purposes. Cyber attacks. Okay, you could have sleeper cells also activate during this time. Hezbollah, Hamas, rogue elements of the U.S. government activating inside the country. There's so many things to consider here because we're at war, because we're in a war cycle right now. That's what the solar eclipse has also taught us. I've talked about that extensively as well. And so there's way more to consider. So again, I've shared this again. I've shared this once before. I'm going to share it again. I've been talking a lot about the tents of Korah. Back in the days of Moses, when they're traveling in the wilderness after they left Egypt, the Israelites were, doing their thing. They're very rebellious. And there was a particular faction called the Korah rebellion. There's a couple of guys, Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. They were instigating a revolt against Moses. and they were told to depart from the tents of these wicked men in Numbers 16:26. Touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins. Okay, and that's kind of the call to action I'm saying right now, because it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. We are in a seismic cycle. It's only a matter of time. July 7th might be it. It might not be. But you bet this is a prime time opportunity to be exercising, to be practicing. If you're in that region, a bug out plan. And if you're not in that region, that's great. It's good, but situational awareness and those types of things are going to be also very important. And of course, it came to pass as he finished speaking all these things, that's Moses, that the ground split apart under them. That's the Korah and his companions. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with all their households, all the men with Korah, with all their goods. And so they went down alive into the pit, it says in Numbers 16:33. And I'm telling you guys, with all the pride stuff, I don't really get into it here in this channel because it's just, I don't want to like throw so much perversion and filth into your imagination. But there were some things happening over there, and they still are, with regards to Pride Month and everything else. All I'm saying is, if there were a context for these things to take place, it's definitely right now, because of the cycle that we're in. So please take action, okay? You want to get gas cans, have extra gas, use stabilizer in case nothing happens. Just have them stabilized. Stabil is okay, but PRIG is better as far as gas stabilizers go. Have gas cans. I don't, it really is a bummer. If you are in the Pacific Northwest, in harm's way of the Cascadia subduction zone, it really is. I know it's tough. You got to make some tough decisions here. But if what I'm saying is going to happen in such a massive fashion, you definitely you want to pack up as best you can. Have suitcases, everything ready. You want to go further east. What's going to happen likely if this does go down the way I'm seeing it, there's going to be a refugee crisis immediately, okay? Over there in the Pacific Northwest, you're going to have a refugee crisis immediately. Seattle, Portland. There's going to be large population influxes into Spokane, Washington, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Bend is going to be overflowed with refugees. So all the Sam's Clubs, Walmarts, Costco's, all your places to get groceries, the shelves are going to be, it's going to be like 2020 with the toilet paper runs, except for food and necessities and everything you could possibly imagine for resources, because everything's going to be wiped out in Seattle and Portland. You're talking about flooding. It's going to be like Hurricane Katrina again back in the early thousands, but it could be, just an extended flooding situation. It could take a while for the water to recede. The water might not recede at all, depending on how bad this seismic activity can be. We have no idea. And I've been saying, this is an unprecedented time period that we're in. So you could see extended flooding and possibly loss of landmass during this time, this cycle, this judgment cycle of the Most High God. Again, guys, it's all because of sin, all right? I don't say that enough. This is because of sin, because of lawlessness, because of breaking God's beautiful, holy instructions, that this country is being punished. And so, yes, we could see extended flooding here, unlike New Orleans that was rebuilt. There's a high possibility that these cities will not be rebuilt in the event of a massive 9.0 or more magnitude earthquake. So you're going to have, first of all, mass casualties, disease. Okay, you're going to have dead bodies everywhere floating in the water. That's exactly what Ezekiel 7 says, the dead bodies everywhere. I believe it's Amos chapter 8, actually. You're going to have a lot of disease, a lot of plague. So people are going to flood the eastern parts of Oregon and Washington first. But Idaho's not in the clear. Nevada, Utah are not in the clear. There's going to be a refugee crisis if this happens. So just think about the resources you need right now, last minute stuff. So even if you're not in the Pacific Northwest, you're going to want to also think ahead for all the neighboring states. And again, that's just the Pacific Northwest for now. We're also looking at the New Madrid later on over here. That I see that on the table, super clear as day from the Most High God. I know no one's talking about it right now, but we're going to see an uptick eventually there with earthquakes. And then at some point, we're going to see La Palma over there in the Canary Islands. And then we're going to see a East Coast tsunami, most likely, because we have so many foreign enemies. For the Russians or somebody to detonate something over there in the Canary Islands to instigate such a big problem for the United States, it's a no-brainer from a military standpoint. So there's a lot of ticking time bombs. God's hand of protection is being lifted off the country. He's handing this country over to the consequences of its sin and departing from the living God. And so again, just I want to sound the alarm bell. 48 hours, guys. I mean, you're gonna have a little bit less than that to get ready, potentially. But this is a scenario, just like the USGS puts out scenarios. I'm putting out a scenario for you, and I'm saying consider it, prepare, and if you have to store your household goods, store up your household goods for just go camping. Do what you got to do, man. Let the Holy Spirit lead you. I'm not the Holy Spirit. I'm just sounding the alarm because nobody's doing it. Okay. And what's really sad to me is a lot of the favorite prophecy YouTube channels and so forth. They're going to be playing the news media later, and they're going to be like, "Oh, this is so crazy that this happened. Look what God's doing." And they're going to be playing the news reporter and the journalist rather than playing the watchman, being the role of a watchman. It's going to be sad. A lot of guys are going to miss the boat on being on the blessing of being a watchman on this one. But so please share this video because most people just aren't paying attention. Most people don't care. A lot of people don't even know that the Cascadia subduction zone is a problem. Okay, most people don't understand that Washington is the second as far as being at risk. It's the second highest state at risk in the entire country of being just wiped out with a humongous earthquake. Like it has a high likelihood of being hit with a massive doomsday type of earthquake, like a 9.0 or bigger than that. And then of course everybody knows about California. Everybody knows about the New Madrid. Not everybody, but enough people know about the New Madrid, but hardly anybody knows about the Cascadia. So that's all I have. Please share the warning. God bless you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.